for that. So maybe that's a long answer to your question, but
yeah,
maybe they just don't need
that's a great answer. That's a great answer. It's basically a one-size-fits-all solution that covers so many different scenarios, so many different markets, like you're saying, SUV and crossover sort of thing. Yeah, but I think perhaps it might be more that maybe they think there's just no point making any more of these Gen 2 cars when there's a Gen 3 coming as well. And it's going to be that much faster, that much cheaper, that much quicker, smaller footprints and everything. But then the batteries, still the batteries as well. So like people used to say when, in 2022 or 2021, why aren't Tesla bringing out the compact? And my answer to them was always, with what batteries? The batteries, they're trying to ramp up the Model Y. The batteries are all earmarked for Model Y. And that's going to be selling for a higher price with more profit than a compact would. So it makes sense to just ramp up Model Y and allocate all the batteries for that. But now we seem to be somewhat at Model Y saturation in this current economy. If Tesla cut prices much further, excluding the $7,500 tax credit, we're going to be close to break even on Model Y. In other words, if you wanted to ramp up Berlin and Texas to the full capacity and hit maybe 2 million Model Ys a year, I would say that it would be likely that Model Y would be selling at an overall loss, perhaps excluding the tax credits, due to having to cut prices that much to increase demand by 30, 40%. So that's okay. That's what the Model Y market is now. And with the current Model Y, and if it has full self-driving and all these other things, and the new facelift is probably going to look absolutely incredible. I think the Model 3 Highland looks amazing, and I might even buy the performance version when that finally comes out and we find out what that is. But the new Model Y will look good too. And if it has FSD and all this stuff, then perhaps there is enough market for even over 2 million. But in the meantime, then we still need cells for the next car for this Gen 3. And I don't even know where these are coming from yet either. And Mexico being delayed and now supposed to start in July, I believe, was the latest news we had. It should be ready for production perhaps 2026, some people think. So we don't need the cells necessarily until then, but we still need them eventually, and in a big number if we're going to be having 1 million or so of these cars a year. So I don't know if it's all dependent on 4680s for that, or if we're going to have LFP. And if we need LFP, then we still need some huge factories to build them. I mean, batteries just tell a lot of the story of how much Tesla can grow. And I know we had this 50% compound annual growth expectation, but it becomes exponentially harder every time to get that many more batteries for that many more cars, especially without dry battery electrode processors and things. So I find it hard to work out how it's all going to scale up without the batteries yet. And these cars, which is why I think it was probably delayed realistically, and why it's taken so long to have another generation vehicle. It's all and the Cybertruck as well. I mean, they needed 4680 cells. They needed sufficient amount to ramp, and that's possibly the major reason that was delayed as well. So again, I'm just working out where these batteries are going to come from and how we're going to get to this Gen 3 vehicle. And I think, it makes sense to have, Elon even said all EVs will be made with structural battery packs from here on after Battery Day. This is just how you make it. All other manufacturers are going to have to follow, or they'll go under, that was it. And Gen 3 is probably going to be the equivalent as well. Tesla's probably thinking that way. It's like, okay, from Gen 3 onwards, there's just no point making any other versions of a car. It's saving so much money. It's so much more efficient, etc. And then they're going to be all in on Gen 3 from the future. So I think that's probably why they haven't launched anything new, most likely as well, partly. And again, no point revealing something early as well. Like you're just gonna Osborne effect the Model 3 or something like that, So yeah, I just want to know about the batteries for the cars, and there just isn't enough for a new model yet.
Yeah, I think that's a very fair statement and a very fair criticism, and I think it's up to Tesla to prove that they have that to, I think, put people at ease that they will have the supply needed to get a Gen 3 car and any future generations of vehicles to reach the numbers that they laid out initially. I think that's super fair.